Guys, welcome back to DR Sports. Now, if you know your football, you'll know this man sitting to my left, an absolute legend of the footballing game and the journalistic world. Guillem Balague is here with us on DR. How are you, my friend?
You introduce everybody like that.
Not everyone, just
you
the
get
special ones.
anything you want after that. What do you need? Anything.
Listen, it's an absolute pleasure to see you here at Soccer X. You know, a fantastic venue, fantastic city. I have to take it back though, because not that you may be aware of this, Guillem, but back in 2011, I did work experience at Sky Sports, in particular, Revista de la Liga.
Wow.
Right? What a show! If you know your Spanish football, that was the top show, right? I did work experience. I met you. It was the old set with the pub, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, you're very connected to Liverpool as well. My auntie Lorraine, who's a season ticket holder, she always had a bit of a crush on you.
Oh, really?
And she actually gave me On the Brink, which
Oh,
is the
wow,
incredible
okay.
book that you wrote about Rafa
my first
Benitez's
book.
first season.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I read that. You know, it's amazing. Great memory.
Yeah, it was. It takes me back to a time where, it was everybody's baby, that Revista de la Liga. We had an idea, we put it in practice, we loved it. I mean, the editing meetings lasted 2 hours. The show lasted just 1 hour, but everybody was so engaged, and all the people that have been there, from Fabio Capello to Rafa Benitez to Mendieta to Graham Hunter to Terry Gibson,
Graham Hunter, wow.
Jerry Armstrong, who was must have been his 60th birthday a couple of days ago, or 70th. Sorry, Jerry.
Oh, no, you can't do that. 60 or 70.
But yeah, it was a magnificent time, and A Season on the Brink is. I've got a soft spot for that book. I counted the books the other day. I've done 10.
10 books.
10 books.
Was that 2006 you put that one out?
So that was
05.
straight away after winning it.
Yeah.
Straight away, I got a call at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was in Istanbul.
Wow.
I just gone to bed really, and it's like my agent. Right, we got it. You have to do a book about this. But everybody went on holiday. But because I knew Rafa and the coaching staff, that I had everybody's number. So I did it well. While in Mallorca, I wrote it, and it was published in October of that same year. So that's
Yeah,
2004.
Liverpool fans, if you haven't read this book, I'd really highly recommend it. A Season on the Brink, all about the unexpectedness of that Liverpool actually going on to win.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy that Liverpool were even winners that year. I mean, I still
Yeah.
can't believe when that Shevchenko chance happens, I still think it's going to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. It was a bit of a miracle, but it was based on truth. It was based on process. It was based on somebody that understood the weaknesses and the strengths of his team in Rafa Benitez. Somebody who was trying to start, and he started a bunch of new things for the Premier League. I'm not sure he's been given the credit he deserves. He's, for me, one of the top managers in Europe.
I agree.
Of the last, 15 years, 20 years. And winning it was, of course, an unbelievable pleasure. I lived in Liverpool. I'm an adopted Scouser.
Where did you live in Liverpool? So I live there now.
So different places, but I was originally in Epworth Road, not far from the cricket club.
Nice. There's paddle at that cricket club now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Black Lane.
Lark
Lane,
Lane,
which was the
Lark
first
Lane.
cosmopolitan part of Liverpool before Liverpool won and all that. And I had my own flat there. I was there for 10 years. And the accent, give me a couple of days in Liverpool and it all comes back, and they start talking about wake and bus and stuff like that.
Guillem Balague there, unbelievable. Listen, we're in Holland. I can't speak to you today without mentioning Arne Slot, who I was at the last Klopp game against Wolves. The tears were coming down, and then he sings Arne Slot.
Unbelievable.
Do you think, and I think this, he takes the pressure off instantly by getting all the fans to sing the name of the next manager that's going to replace him? I've never seen that in football before.
No, I've never seen it before, and I'll tell you more. It's a discussion I have with managers I know. It's like, why don't you just call the guy that just left? You know him, this is his number. And I think I can tell the story now. When Unai left Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta was taking over, I was having lunch with Unai, and I said, why don't you call Mikel? And you share things of how it went for you. And well, it doesn't get people don't tend to do it because you want to make your own mind about what's there. But there's a lot of privileged information you can share. So I went like, Mikel, Unai, boom, and they were
No
talking
way.
for an hour. And I think Mikel was going to get Unai's house. Eventually, it didn't happen. But not even that. So there's not even that step of sharing information. So for Jurgen to do that, it just puts a lovely end to what he has been a magnificent time at Liverpool.
Yeah, I've absolutely loved it. Listen, there's so many almost new managers coming to massive teams. We're seeing Enzo Maresca coming to Chelsea very recently. Mikel still fighting, still young. You know, we're looking at Arne coming to Anfield now.
Xabi Alonso, of course.
Xabi Alonso. So this is my point. I was in Dublin last week and I watched the final in the Aviva. It's incredible to see these young managers with such responsibility early on in their career. Who do you think maybe this time next year we'll look back on and say, what a great season this guy had at a massive club?
Let me just get on something you say. Early in their career, a lot of responsibility. But you're talking about process managers. All of them have gone through being assistants, in the case of Mikel and in the case of Enzo, of Pep Guardiola, no less. In the case of Enzo, his whole world changed when he played with Sevilla against Football Club Barcelona of Pep Guardiola. So there's that influence, of course. And they know that to be close to Pep, you have to do a lot of things, add layers to your coaching careers. Xabi Alonso being 3 years in Real Sociedad B.
Yeah.
So they haven't jumped from player to be, to have that responsibility. They've gone through a process that, and some of it has been quite visible. All the stuff, and I know all of them, all the ones you mentioned, not so much Arne Slot, but all of them have got the impression that they don't know enough. So they've been working really hard to get to where they are to, and they all feel they can do a job there. And that's the fascinating thing. Mikel has proven it, he can. Enzo has shown at Leicester City that he's got all the ingredients to be a top manager. What an exciting time at Chelsea that will be, I think. Yeah. And Arne Slot, I'm going to learn a lot through seeing him these teams play.
Yeah, I can't wait. You mentioned a lot of names that are disciples of Pep, right? We heard that potentially Pep may call it a day in England at the end of next season. Do you believe that, or do you think?
I've been saying that for 2 years.
Yeah. Because as a Liverpool fan, I'm sure Arsenal fans would agree. Yeah. Let's see the back of Pep.
He gets a new contract, and I think the idea is to then leave club football. But nobody knows, because he won't disclose it until it's time to do so. He had a back operation about a year ago. He's won the Champions League. He's broke a record in the Premier League. He's done it, hasn't he? He's done it. So it's time to perhaps think of doing it in a different way, a national side. And then it's going to be a battle. But timing is important. Maybe England, maybe Holland, maybe Italy, Argentina, Brazil. They all go after him, I'm sure.
Of course.
So he'll have a good, interesting choice to make.
Let us know in the comments, do you think Pep is going to say adios at the end of next season? And would you be happy to see that? Obviously not if you're a Man City fan. Just before we wrap up, the big final in London at the weekend. I'm sure you'll be there. Real Madrid going for their 15th title. A lot of them have been against my team, unfortunately. Yeah. What's your look ahead to that one? I mean, Jude Bellingham, we were just talking to Javier Tebas. He says he's a nailed-on winner of the Ballon d'Or this year. Is it a formality? Well,
that's interesting.
That's what he said.
That's interesting.
Is it a formality that Madrid win that, or can Dortmund undo the Wembley curse that plagued them in 2013?
So I saw training of Real Madrid a couple of days back, Monday, and they worked really hard for half an hour on a small pitch to beat pressure, aggressive pressure, and they beat it all the time. They just do it. They can do it. So, and that's Borussia Dortmund's biggest trick, isn't it? So if they force an error, then it could be if there's a second error, then and Borussia take advantage, then wow. But it has to be like that. It has to be the first 10-15 minutes where Borussia just impose their way of doing things, the high tempo, force errors, and then convert them. Because if you let Real Madrid go through all that period and they haven't conceded, they'll get you. They
never die. They just never die.
Do you know how many times they lost a final in the last 10 that they played?
None.
Yeah.
How
amazing is that?
3 against Liverpool, so thanks for that.
How amazing is that?
Just before we go, Biggleswade United. You're the president of the
Chairman,
football club,
yeah.
the chairman. talk to us about the kind of growth of that, and where do you see it maybe going in the future?
So the men's, we are in step 5. Ideally, we fight for promotion this year, which takes us to step 4, and that's where we belong. That will be 8th division, the 8th tier of English football. The women's, it's easier to grow a little bit better. So if we are putting the setup together to push on and get to maybe step 4, step 3, get close to National League, that's the aim. And then the academy is, we're not going to create professionals, I don't think so, but we have to put a frame and a way of behavior that helps the kids to respect the opponent, to respect authority, to respect referees. That to me is more important than scoring a goal. So the seniors, be as competitive as they can, and youth, give them a good experience. That's the plan.
Well, listen, I can't wait to come down and see a game.
Anytime.
I really would love to come down and see you in your element, you know, at Biggleswade. But listen, Guillem, it's been an absolute pleasure for me to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you again.
Like, comment and subscribe to this video if you don't know about Guillem Balague. Have you been living under a rock? Make sure you go and check out his CV. It's incredible. You're a big inspiration to me, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you.